So the closer I get to 30, I start to think about getting engaged and all this other stuff here, and even like having kids. And the way my mind works is basically I like to save up for things way in advance and do all the research so when the time comes, I'm fully prepared and I don't have to worry about anything, okay? So I did my research and I found out that basically when it comes to this whole diamond game, there is a lot of fuzzy business going on here. Like the whole diamond industry and the whole get the girl a diamond thing was started by basically a big diamond company that launches an entire marketing campaign. So in reality, it's like a scam, but now it's a part of culture. So you're not gonna say it's a scam, I'm not gonna get you a diamond. Like, no, it's a part of what we do today. On top of that, I did even more research and went even deeper, and I found that basically a lot of these jewelers, they have like a 5x, 10x markup on the items they're basically selling you. So you think you're getting like a good deal, but in reality, you're paying so much money. So on top of that, what I did was I figured out the three main types of stones. You have the natural stones you get from the earth, obviously. You have the lab-grown stones you get from a lab, and then you have moissanite, which is one I never heard before. And I'm gonna break it down in this video because in reality, if you follow these steps, you're gonna save a bunch of money. Because again, the average wedding is costing like $20,000. The average engagement ring basically being bought right now is like $7,500, meaning people are spending a bunch of money, and just like a 10% savings or 20% savings can mean, for example, a few $1,000s in your pocket, which makes a big deal when there are so many other expenses involved in this entire game, okay? So let's break everything down. Now, as always, guys, if you guys are new here, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you're notified. I post videos all the time on money, investing, and also every now and then on different things you can do to basically save money. On top of that, also smash the like button. It helps a lot with the channel and I appreciate it a ton. And this way more people find out on ways to save money when it comes to this engagement ring business. Now, the very first type of engagement ring or stone I'm gonna break down is basically the moissanite stone. And this one you probably never heard about, but it's the hardest stone out there, second only to diamond. So yeah, it's only second to diamond. And in reality, when it comes to the clarity, the quality, the endurance of this stone is very similar to diamond. Like you can't really tell. And whenever people tell me, well, Tommy, you know, I want to get this high grade stuff. Whenever we get into the only way you can tell the difference is by looking under a microscope, then it really doesn't matter anymore. Okay, that's how good moissanite actually is. And you have three types. You have the classic, you have the forever brilliant, and you also have the forever one moissanite. And this is all about, for example, how the way the light reflects on it to make it look a little bit more sparkly and the way the cut is actually done. Now, when it comes to moissanite, here's the big deal. You can actually get a stone, let's say like 3 carats versus the diamond. You can get one for like, you know, like $3,000 per se. You might say, Tommy, wow, 3 carats, $3,000 might sound like a lot of money, but if you know about diamonds and you've been searching, that's like it's like $25,000 as far as like a natural cut diamond, naturally minded diamond. That is a big difference. 3,000 versus 25,000 in 1 carat. By the way, you can basically get a good size stone for like $500 or $1,000. Meaning, usually a 1 carat diamond, like natural, can cost you like $3,000, $5,000. But in reality, with moissanite, it can cost you like around $1,000 or like $1,400. Meaning, you save a bunch of money. And again, there is a con here. The con is it's not really a good investment. On top of that, it does have, for example, poor resale value. Now, in reality, when you're buying a diamond, what it symbolizes is forever. So are you really trying to sell this stuff or resell it? Most likely, no. On top of that, if you're gonna buy a bigger one, you're saving so much money that you can just grab the difference, and then when you want to upgrade the ring, upgrade it, and it doesn't really matter. And as far as investments, even the normal natural diamond, what it does tend to do is retain its price. It doesn't really appreciate that much. In reality, it's not really that much of a good investment anyways. And by the way, for all the nerds out there, the chemical makeup when it comes to a moissanite diamond is basically silicon and also carbon. So the way the light reflects on it is a lot more sparkly a lot more shiny. And yes, you have like the non-colorless ones, and there are a different types, okay? But in reality, you get to save so much more money and get this lady a nice diamond that she actually wants. Now, I do have to say one thing. If you're a guy watching this video, or if you're a girl watching this video, obviously you want to have a conversation with that person, because in reality, you don't want to give somebody like a 6-carat ring and be like, this must have cost like a fortune, and in reality it costs you like, like a lot less. Like, let the person know, have a conversation about it. This way you're not starting off a marriage like on bad ground, where you kind of scam somebody thinking that they got like a naturally diamond, when in reality it's moissanite, which is not bad, but it's not diamond per se as far as like what the market thinks is actually valued. Then you have, for example, lab grown diamond. And by the way, it's not synthetic. They're not allowed to call it synthetic because it goes through, in a sense, a more efficient process to become a diamond, but it's all done, of course, in a lab, and the price can be anywhere from 30 to 50% off. Again, when we're talking about buying something that the only way you can tell the difference is through a microscope or through a whole fancy machine, it really doesn't matter. What you're talking about is more like tastes and values and the type of lifestyle you actually want to live. But if all you care about in reality is just getting married, having something to symbolize it, and you care more about, hey, let's save that money on that ring and put it towards a down payment, it's savings accounts for your kids, then obviously it doesn't really matter that much. So saving 30 to 50% off obviously means you can get a little bigger diamond there, which actually makes a lot more of a difference. And by the way, it's the same hardness, the same chemical makeup, except that natural diamonds do tend to have some traces of nitrogen, I think it is, but this one doesn't. But again, like, do you really care about the traces that actually has of some chemical? The answer is not really, but you do get to save a bunch of money. Now, lastly, obviously, you have the natural diamonds. This is the stuff that, people dig from the earth. It goes through this whole chemical thing, and it's also finite, but in reality, a lot of diamond companies, what they do is basically they hold the supply to create a deficit, so you think there's not a lot of them, but there is a lot of them. But if they release all of them, then the price kind of collapse. It's a whole fishy situation here, but overall, what I mean to say is, if you're asking me, Tommy, when you get engaged, when you get married, or whatever you want to do, what are you going to get? Are you going to get moissanite? Are you going to get a lab-grown diamond? Or, for example, are you going to get a natural diamond? The answer is simple. It's a conversation to have between two adults. So if my future soon-to-be wife says, you know what, I really don't care about this stuff, like I don't mind a moissanite diamond, let's pay this, get me like a 5-carat one or 3-carat one or 1-carat one, whatever it is, I'll buy that one. And with all the money we save, we can put it towards, for example, something else that might be a lot more valuable to us. But if she says, no, I want something that's naturally cut, I actually care about this a lot, and I want to have this, then obviously you get that. But if the lady of your dreams, you know what I'm saying, says like, oh, I want the biggest diamond ever, and you're like, we can't afford that, then that might be like a red flag, and you might want to have a conversation, and then that's a whole different situation overall, okay? But the answer is, you have a conversation between two adults, and that's how you decide. But if you ask me, from my accounting perspective, investing, capital preservation mentality, I usually go with, why not get moissanite? You know what I mean? You save so much more money, you can't really tell the difference at all, only if like you're an expert, and it's like the same thing. Like, it's just stone. It's like a grade 8. Like, you can't break that thing, okay? It lasts forever. Like, it doesn't really matter. The resale value, I don't care, because with all the money I'm saving, I can basically invest it, so it doesn't really make a difference. But overall, I wanted to make this video to give you guys a new perspective, so you know that it's not just natural stone, which you see celebrities buy all the time. It's not just lab-grown stores you see, for example, James Allen and all those advertisers say about, but it's also moissanite. That's also an option you can basically get. The light reflection is very similar, clarity is very similar, quality is very similar. All this stuff is kind of like, when you buy it, you can't really say, oh, I'm buying it because it's so much better quality. No, not at all, okay? And by the way, one big thing is, guys, when it comes to buying a ring, if you actually want to save even more money, you can go, for example, with the used route. You buy a ring from a pawn shop, or you buy a ring from eBay that was used before. And people say like, oh, Tommy, but that's going to be bad luck. You don't really want to do that. It doesn't really look good. The answer is, I don't think that affects the actual, marriage in a sense, of the relationship. You know, as long as it is a conversation, it has nothing to do with it. And by the way, proportionally, usually the bigger the ring is, the higher probability you will see a divorce, okay? That's kind of crazy, but that's also a fact. So don't be afraid to go to eBay. Don't be afraid to go to a pawn shop and save a bunch of money. Because again, whenever you go to a retailer and you go to one of these famous stores or whatever, they're gonna sell it to you at what it cost them plus a massive margin so they can actually make their profit. So don't be afraid. Go to pawn shops, go to eBay. And I've seen rings like moissanite rings, for example, moissanite rings over on eBay that are like 3 carats, 5 carats, 6 carats for like $1,000, $1,700, and it's a big difference than you would see, for example, in a retail store where they say, hey, it's moissanite, but it's the highest quality moissanite. You know, it's just marketing. And then they say, well, we're gonna charge you $5,000 for this one, and it's 6 carat, kind of like almost $1,000 per carat. You can usually get even a lot less money on that, okay? So you can even save even more money. So again, don't be afraid to buy these things used. As long as it's a conversation, it's not gonna affect, it's not no bad luck thing. Don't believe the hype, okay? The person you marry is gonna be the most important factor when it comes to the marriage actually lasting a long time. So I hope this video helps you. I hope it saves you a lot of money. And if you wanna watch a video on how to save money on a wedding, then let me know, comment down below. And as always, guys, like, subscribe, hit the bell to get notified, comment down below any questions, and comment down below, ring, so I know you made it all the way to this part of the video. Up here is another video, and over here is my face. Click and subscribe. And as always, follow me on Instagram at TommyBryson, and Long Term Team officially out. Peace.